everyone. My name is Denis King, and I am the CEO of Solace. And I'm super excited to be joined today by Guillaume Pinot, who is the head of technology for Renault Digital. And Renault is a customer and partner of Solace, and I'm super excited to have Guillaume here. Welcome, Guillaume.
Welcome, Denis.
So, Guillaume, let's start with some background. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us a bit about your role and what you're doing at Renault Digital and how you actually came to get your role.
Yes, so initially I am an engineer in electronic and industrial data processing, and but I soon held various positions in ISIT departments of different large companies for 10 years, and before joining the French telecom operator named Bouygues Telecom, and where I focused on the web and big data technologies for 10 years. And I left Bouygues Telecom in 2015 to spend 2 years as freelance in big data technologies, and with Alstom and General Electric as main clients. And then in 2017, I joined Renault Digital as the director of the technology department, and the position I still hold today.
Awesome. So definitely a long history of big data, and big data is a significant component of event-driven architecture as a part of big data. So that's awesome. So just something I've been doing with all of the folks here at the Fireside Chats is just to know a little bit more about yourself. Do this lightning round of 3-4 seconds per question, and see where this goes. So could you tell me your favorite book?
My favorite book, I like a lot science fiction, and especially anticipation ones. And one I read a lot is the famous Brave New World by English author Aldous Huxley. Interesting.
What about your favorite movie?
Favorite movie. I'm gonna give you an answer as a dad of young kids, because I saw a lot of movie and kid movies or cartoon with them, and I must admit that I'm very happy that Pixar exists. And and if I have to name one, as a French who loves food, Ratatouille, with my French accent.
I know it well. My kids are French as well. So Ratatouille was a big movie at my house, and Monsters Inc. is the one that I remember. My kids are probably a little bit older than yours, but great. What about your favorite band?
Favorite band, American or English pop rock or trip hop, I think it is. Bands like The Strokes, Radiohead, Archive, Portishead. I attended a lot of some of their concerts when I was younger. I still listen to them a lot.
Awesome. And what about your favorite food? It must be something French, I would suspect.
Yes, I'm French, so I love French food, and like bourguignon fondue or cheese fondue, but I also like a lot Asian food, and especially Thai or Vietnamese or Japanese, and like Thai fondue or Vietnamese bobon dish.
Wow, my mouth is watering. I need to get back to Paris. What about your favorite sport?
Favorite sport? I was very passionate about golf, which I still practice from time to time. But yes, I recently developed a passion for rollerblading, inline skating. Wow. And yes, at almost 50 years old, I like to think that anything is still possible. And I have seen people in their 80s still skating, and it's really reassuring.
Awesome. Yeah, I was just rollerblading with my daughter this weekend past, so I'm trying to keep up as well. So good stuff. So jumping into the technology a little bit now, you're working for Renault Digital, and I know for the large audience that's out there, not everybody knows that Renault Digital is a different part of the business than Renault Group. So could you explain a little bit about how Renault Digital was born within Renault Group?
Yes, the Renault Group is a 120 years old French multinational automobile manufacturer. It's composed of more than 100,000 collaborators, and Renault Digital is 100% Renault subsidiary. It was created in 2017. It's composed of around 300 collaborators. And the main objective initially of Renault Digital was to accelerate the digital transformation of the Renault Group. And yes, we have in Renault Digital 5 digital centers of expertise: data, user experience, agile, architecture, and technology departments that I lead.
Interesting. So you did mention digital transformation. There's a good segue, I guess. When we hear digital transformation in the industry, it's a bit of a buzzword, and everybody sees it somewhat differently, and it means different things to different people. But when you're inside of Renault Digital and you're thinking of digital transformation, what are the business problems that you're trying to solve for Renault Group in general?
Yes, cars are becoming more and more electric, connected, and autonomous, and manufacturers are facing a disruptive market where the value chain will shift towards mobility services and reduce the pure sale of vehicles. So the ability for business to operate these movements and embrace the digital to do so is a key factor of success. And I mean digital, not only technologies, but methodologies and especially culture, like empowerment, test and learn, lean culture. And switching from a project mode, for example, to product teams with an organization that empowers teams was the challenge, because it questions many processes, rules, organizations established for decades.
Yeah, definitely one of the big challenges, as you say, is that cultural change and getting everybody on board across all the different systems. So very, very good point. Can you talk a little bit about the technical challenges? Go down a level deeper and talk about some of the technical challenges that you're overcoming, through this whole digital phase.
Yes, different challenges. The first one, I think, was to operate the shift to the new digital technologies and practices for all new digital products. So it means build cloud and DevOps platforms, deploy development practices like software craftsmanship methodologies, and to design new digital products following cloud native patterns and web-oriented architecture patterns. But more than technical issues, the big challenge was to hire corresponding skills, because cloud architect, DevOps, and developer experts are very difficult to hire. The market very tense. And also upskilling, training current collaborators to master these new technologies was the challenge. We trained several hundred of people. So it's the first challenge. The second one was to make legacy applications compatible with the new digital world. There are a lot of existing apps in Renault, and with a lot of technical debt and very difficult to evolve. And Renault Digital serves as a locomotive to take legacy apps to digital, and new digital products had to rely on such existing legacy applications. So to do that, the first step was to create APIs in front of the repository legacy to be able to integrate them with new digital products. The step is to do the same with reactive, with events through an event bus. And we will, I think, discuss this more in detail later. And the third step is to reduce the technical debt of legacy apps and to gradually evolve them towards cloud and DevOps patterns. Another challenge is that we cannot fully rely on a public cloud solution because we are an industry. We have plans and local apps needs for latency, for example, performance, cost, or reliability. And so we are also addressing those needs through private cloud and edge computing opportunities. And last challenge, but not least, the data deluge challenge. Data is very important in digital transformation. We created a data lake in the public cloud to gather all repository data of Renault Group and all other usage data like web analytics data, car data, IoT data from plants. But there are a lot of challenges to address the data volume ramp up, and especially data from plants, IoT, and cars, connected vehicles. But the scalability and data services offered by the cloud help us a lot on this challenge. Where we have maybe the most difficulty is producing the right data with quality and to collect it. And improving this is more an evolution of the culture that has to be done. We must have to shift to the measure obsession culture, but it's not easy in our context where the design of the solutions is always challenged by the cost, and especially for cars where every euro counts, and with the value of data still often viewed as too hypothetical and not enough predictable.
Wow. So there's, I mean, I think that's a great summary of a lot of the challenges that exist for any digital transformation. A lot of commonalities. You have your legacy environment. You want to have an API-led strategy, so you bring APIs into the mix. Then you want to incorporate events and event streaming into the strategy. And then you got to figure out your cloud strategy, like you just mentioned. Am I public, but I want to be private cloud? I don't want everything in the cloud. What applications need to live where? And then it's the organization of all of the information and the quality of that data. And you know, it's a significant challenge. And once you do all of that, once you accomplish all of that, maybe, you know, sharing a little bit about the business value. So when you actually achieve that, what's sort of the business impact of some of this? Can you quantify that for me a little bit?
Yes, at the beginning, the digital initiatives were driven by value, and value certified by the controlling. And in 2017, when we created Renault Digital, the objective was to generate several 100 million euros of value by 2020, thanks to digital initiatives. And a big part, so it was very challenging, and a big part of this value was generated by the digitization of points of sale or after sales, and for example, providing powerful mobile apps to our dealers brought a lot of value. Another big part of this value is due to the digitization of internal processes with a lot of improvement in productivity and reactivity. And for example, as part of our Industry 4.0 program, mobile apps were deployed in plants with, for example, 45 minutes of time saved per day for persons that had to walk a lot between their office and assembly lines. And also from data, creating new services or monetization from data brought us a lot of value.
That's a great set of business challenges, Guillaume. Thanks for that. Now, you mentioned before the digital backbone as a part of that digital transformation that you guys are undertaking. Could you talk a little more about the digital backbone solution, what it is and how it's enabled your business and what problems it's solving?
Yes, we started a digital backbone initiative in 2017, and it fully relies on the Solace solution. And yes, from the beginning, building a global event mesh was mandatory for us. Our target was to have an event-driven architecture on all our main business domains, industry 4.0, connected vehicles, user apps, and enterprise apps. And it means connecting, for example, 35 plants around the world, mobile and web user apps, and maybe close to 100 enterprise apps using our digital backbone. And we also use today digital backbone to forward data from more than 1 million connected cars in 2021. And so as of today, this approach enables us to monetize real-time data, car data, through data monetization partners, to leverage artificial intelligence on real-time data from plants, to offer also real-time data to Renault car apps used by user, and for example, My Renault mobile apps. And it enable us also to explore our data to extract even more value through innovative use cases.
It's definitely it's amazing to see how broad and how wide your point of view is around event-driven architecture, because often we see it sometimes in certain cases to be somewhat isolated, but as we get into broader use cases, the distributed nature of the mesh and the connectivity requirements are definitely growing. So that's awesome. So you've been down this journey. What advice would you give other leaders who are just starting? This whole event-driven journey has challenges as you've articulated. What advice would you give other senior leaders that are about to undertake such a real-time journey?
Well, there is probably no one size fits all advice, but yes, event driven is about knowing what's going on in your digital ecosystem and adapting to the situation. And for example, it could mean adapting to customer behavior, to partner supply shortage, to failing charging stations, and so on. And to achieve this ability to adapt interactions, we need secured, scalable, flexible ways of collecting, processing, and leveraging events. And a digital backbone is a big part of this answer, but it needs complementary solutions to address the processing and activation of the event. So maybe a few takeaways from our experience. Maybe you have to know your target digital ecosystem to choose the right digital backbone solution. Do you need to deploy on premises, on data center, on the cloud, on different cloud provider, all around the world, and so on? Event is very new for companies, and especially in Renault. So you have to communicate from the start to accelerate adoption for everyone. And also build developer kits to simplify digital backbone integration and adoption. Also identify key use cases per domain to showcase, and yes, build a skilled digital backbone team as soon as possible, and also DevOps practices. So think automation everywhere for secured, scalable, and flexible digital backbone.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's definitely not a one size fits all. You're right, and certainly it's a it's a complementary set of technologies that helps I think customers get there. So really cool. Last question for you, Guillaume. What is next for Renault Digital?
So maybe regarding in particular our event-driven approach, our next priorities are to collect more events from plants, connected cars, and other strategic applications, and to create value-added services and applications from this data. Also, as I mentioned before, to continue to simplify integration with the digital backbone, and through, for example, improvement of the digital backbone SDK, and in a collaborative development mode. I mean, in inner sourcing mode, where all developers can contribute to the SDK, and it's not just the digital backbone team that make evolution on the SDK. And last priorities maybe is the extraction of value from events and data, making it easy to discover and use and share events assets on dedicated platforms. And but more generally for Renault Digital, over the next few months or years, it is a question of continuing to support the digital strategy of the Renault Group. And with the arrival of our new Chief Executive Officer, Luca Di Mio, last year, and the increasingly strong shift towards new mobility services and towards a tech company that integrates vehicle, and not only that make vehicle.
Awesome. I mean, event-driven architecture, digital transformation is a journey, and it sounds like Renault Digital is right on the right track. So thanks so much, Guillaume, for taking the time to spend with us here during our EDA Summit. Thanks so much for being a supporter of Solace, a partner and customer. I really, really appreciate your time, and certainly look forward to getting over to Paris and hopefully having some of that good ratatouille with you when we're there.
Yeah, thank you a lot, Denis, for inviting me for this interview.
Thank you.